Beer was a casualty of the pandemic. Research suggests that people drank more in general, but many swapped beer for wine and spirits. In the last year, with the reopening of pubs and the Euro Football Championships, beers are recovering. The sales went up to 4.6 billion litres of beer in 2021, a 13% increase from the year of COVID, the previous year. The Black Sheep Brewery in North Yorkshire is this year celebrating 30 years of brewing. GBNews North of England journalist Anna Riley is at their brewery in Masham. Anna, good to speak to you. How are you this morning? And why is it called...
Good morning, Michael.
And why is it called the Black Sheep Brewery?
Good morning. Well, I've got just the man to tell you all about that. I'm joined here in the brewery in Masham by Rob Theakston. He's the managing director, and we've got such a lovely backdrop for you today. We're here with the copper kettle, and we're in the brewery itself. It smells delicious. Rob, just tell us a little bit about the history of the brewery.
Yeah, Black Sheep was founded 30 years ago. It was born out of a family feud. Theakston's Brewery was the sort of original family business, founded in 1827. There was a sort of difference of opinion, difference of direction of travel, really, between the family. To cut a very long story short, my father left the business. It was taken over by Scottish and Newcastle at the time, and founded Black Sheep off the back of that in 1992.
And why was it called Black Sheep? Why that name for the brewery?
Really because he was the black sheep of the family, going against the grain, going against the traditional family business that had been going so long. He was the black sheep.
And 30 years, it's an amazing achievement, but it's been tough, hasn't it? You know, just hearing with the pandemic, you know, people stopped drinking as much beer, you know, pubs were closed, and now we've got the cost of living. What's it been like?
Tough, yeah. I mean, we're not immune to that. We see that in terms of our raw materials, and really, you know, we rely on people's consumer confidence. You know, when people are feeling the pinch, they don't go to the pub as much. We're all about supporting that great British institution, which is the pub. We produce cask beer, we make it, and it's a great social product. So we want to encourage that back, really.
Tell me a little bit more about the cask beer and why it is such a British institution.
It's been with us forever, and there's nowhere else in the world that you can get it. It's fresh, it's got brilliant English raw materials in, certainly in ours, and it's just a fantastic way to enjoy alcohol, I suppose.
And what's the response like? We're here in the visitor centre, aren't we? So you've got people coming around, you're telling them all about brewing. What's it been like?
Really positive. You know, we had a party at the weekend to celebrate the 30th anniversary, and the people came, you know, local people coming into the business, and it's just great. Everyone's really, really positive at the moment about it, so it's been great.
And it's a family institution, like you've mentioned, and Theakston's as well. You're well known in this part of the world. Yeah, absolutely. We've got a deep-rooted history. We've been, as a family, around Masham for about 500 years, so we're definitely planted in this place. But if we can kind of keep going for another 500, producing amazing beer, then why not? Why do you think it is such a British institution, beer, the pub, you know?
Certainly the pub. I think it's a social hub. I mean, they were community driven. You know, they're so important. We are social creatures as human beings, and we like to get together, have a natter, have a talk, see what's going on in the world. And the pub is the place to do that. And it always has been. If we can provide that in terms of the history of our product, then even better, even better.
And obviously, before it gets to the pub, it all starts here. Just tell us about this copper kettle behind us and the brewing process.
Yeah, really simply, we create a mash, a grist. You can see the vessels in behind. The copper kettle here is effectively a kettle. We boil hops in here. We're adding hops for bitterness at this point, boiled for an hour, and then dropped into a hop back where we're adding more hops for aroma. But it's just another classic part of the brewing process. And this vessel's about 80 years old. And
you've got some for us to taste as well, haven't you? Yeah. So tell me about this, and tell me the link to cask ales, because I believe this is what it is. Is this your top seller?
Yeah, this is one of the original brews, Black Sheep Ale, brewed using traditional English hops like Fuggles, Goldings, using Maris Otter malt, and is an absolute classic of its type. It's effectively a strong bitter at 4.4. Normal bitters around sort of 3.8 for a sort of session bitter. This is a classic strong bitter.
Cheers,
Cheers.
Rob. Cheers. Oh, that's lovely. That's very smooth. Just talk me through the taste.
You've got a kind of pear droppy kind of note. You've got a biscuity kind of notes in there as well. Dry, bitter finish, which is really a symptom of our beers because we use a Yorkshire Square, which is a particular type of fermentation that's unique to us, and again gives that kind of nice finish that makes you want to kind of come back for more, really.
It definitely does. I'll be coming back for more, definitely. So it's not just here where you can get the beer. You sell it online in supermarkets. What are your sales like?
They've been up and down, I would say. You know, the pandemic has been tough for sales. We did a lot online at the time. You know, we really kind of changed the dial on that. We get out there into the supermarkets as well, so you'll find us in most of the major supermarkets. But since the sort of pandemic has eased, pubs are sort of reopening again. We're kind of back out there. But it's not easy. It's tough out there at the moment.
But 30 years, and you think definitely another 30 to come?
I hope so, yeah. Fingers crossed.
Cheers to that. Thanks, Rob.
Cheers.
And yes, Michael, if you can try the Black Sheep Ale, it certainly is tasty. So cheers to that.
Well, thank you, Anna. Funnily enough, I'm able to do exactly that because I have a bottle of it here and I can confirm that it's 4.4%. I'm just going to pour myself a little glass of this because we have reached the middle of the day and my lunchtime is approaching and this seems like a very good moment to do so. Look at that lovely head on it. Just let that settle a tiny bit.